Dominica approves new measures to strengthen due diligence in the sale of passports. Prime Minister Skerrit makes a fresh pledge of assistance to organizations caring for children, the elderly and physically challenged. And the OECS makes inroads into the Cuban market. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. Dominica has endorsed a uniform due diligence activity in its Citizenship by Investment program, making it more stringent for people of questionable motives to own the country's passport. Dominica joins 4 of the other Citizenship by Investment jurisdictions in the Caribbean to sharpen the structure of its program. That was the mission of a 2-day forum of the Caribbean Citizenship by Investment Program Association, which began here Thursday. Foreign Affairs Minister Francine Barron, who represented the Prime Minister, says if CBI islands of the Caribbean work together, this will strengthen the integrity of their programs. She has proposed the signing of an MOU to formalize the activities of the CBI programs.
I will be bold enough to steer the conversation to result in the outcome of a uniform regulatory system. We have taken the first step in achieving this. Our respective Citizenship by Investment units or committees share a consistent approach in the vetting of applicants by ensuring that each applicant is reviewed on multiple levels, first domestically and then internationally. This includes desktop review of applicants, on-the-ground investigations, verifications, and analysis. It is not until we are certain of the applicant's good standing and character that we bestow upon them the ultimate prize of citizenship. Since our last CEPA meeting, we have agreed to share names of applicants who have been denied in any of the other islands to ensure that there is consistency amongst us. To establish a unified Citizenship by Investment regime, we must find avenues through which we can safely exchange information while respecting the privacy of our clients.
Caribbean governments, including Dominica, also contract risk management firms to evaluate applicants. Barron is advocating for zero tolerance to applicants with questionable character.
We are also aware that we must do all in our power to secure our programs from misuse by nefarious characters and to protect our country from the reputational damage that can be caused merely by a single mishandled application. In the face of those who act outside the law and who seek to destroy confidence in our programs, we must continue to demonstrate that our countries are not safe havens for criminals, and that our programs cannot be used as a means of avoiding justice. The message must be clear. The Caribbean Citizenship by Investment system is not open to abuse.
CEO of Antigua's Citizenship by Investment unit says he supports a multi-tiered background check for applicants to help raise the standards of the Caribbean's citizenship selling industry.
Also, we agreed that the Joint Regional Communications Center in Barbados, part of IMPACS, would be the central point for, or the depository for this information, so that when one of us would send information to the Joint Regional Communications Center, it would benefit from the fact that that person, the search that is, would benefit from the fact that that person or family would have been denied in one of the islands previously.
The forum brought together officials of CBI units in St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Antigua and Dominica. Grenada could not make it due to flight issues. Local agents of the CBI program also attended. And Prime Minister Skerrit and Minister for Social Services Catherine Daniel met with representatives of institutions which provide care to children, the elderly and the disabled on Thursday. The aim of that meeting was to focus on the challenges of caring for the vulnerable groups and how government can assist in addressing them. The Prime Minister says the discussion provided a better appreciation of what needs to be done, even if all the problems won't be solved right away.
What we've committed to is to do 3 major things. One, to provide training for all of the employees of those institutions, and the state will underwrite the cost of the training. And with a view to providing certification to those trainees. And I've asked the Ministry of Social Services to collaborate with the State College to produce a module that will provide care and training for those persons providing care to the vulnerable groups in society. Secondly, is to provide direct financial support to addressing some of the challenges with the facilities themselves. So, for example, the infirmary has a major water problem, leakage of the pipes and so forth. And they need to replace doors and frames and tile the bathrooms and so forth. We will underwrite that cost. The infirmary, for example, has an issue, the Grotto Home needs about $200,000 to finish up the facility at Belvedere, and we'll underwrite the cost of those things. So the number of institutions that have challenges in terms of capital works. The Operation Youth Quick is doing a farm and they want support there for the farm and additional furniture. We'll underwrite the cost of that. And the third thing is the recurrent costs, because I know of the challenges that they have sometimes. While the government provides a subvention, sometimes in many instances the subvention is not sufficient. And they have to be soliciting support from the private sector and civil society. But that support is not in a consistent manner, so it is not a commitment for an every month subvention in some cases. So there are challenges, and the government's intention there is to seek to minimize on those challenges that they're having. We're not able to eliminate it all at once because the state can't do everything, but certainly we'll try our best to fill the gap and to address some of the challenges which you're experiencing.
It could be weeks or even months before the Caribbean Court of Justice hands down a decision as to whether show promoter Cabral Douglas will be granted special leave for commencement of proceedings in the Tommy Lee Sparta issue against Dominica. The court matter, which is before the CCJ this week, is not the substantive matter, but if Douglas gets special leave of the court, proceedings in that $3 million lawsuit against the government of Dominica will go ahead. Attorney General Levi Peter told DBS News this week his team opposed Mr. Douglas's claim that he has certain entitlements under the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas. Douglas believes government's action to deport Tommy Lee Sparta and his entourage 2 years ago caused him loss.
But essentially, what we told the CCJ is that the applicant, that's Mr. Douglas, did not satisfy the criteria of Article 222. Essentially, that he was unable and could not bring himself within the terms of that article. That is to say that the benefit of the treaty inured, or that meant flows to, or was meant to benefit him as a private individual. That obviously is a very loose paraphrase of the situation, but essentially we're saying that he didn't satisfy the criteria and therefore was not to be given leave to bring an originating application, which would be the next step if the court grants him leave. So in other words, if he gets leave, then we have the full trial of the issues, if you will.
The Attorney General was also asked about the chances of settling this matter out of court.
There are actually two separate issues. I'm not sure. I've seen things and heard things in the media which conflate the two. We have the Jamaican nationals who clearly, under the treaty, would have certain rights. Those rights are provided for free movement and so forth. They would not necessarily apply in this case, but those nationals, not being nationals of Dominica, may well be able to argue that they are entitled to certain rights. Now, in relation to the four Jamaican nationals, as you would know, being in the media, there have been discussions between representatives of Dominica and representatives of the Jamaican nationals. In respect of Mr. Douglas, his claim you would have seen is a claim for some $3 million for loss that he claims flowed from any breach that he claims to have taken place. There is that's a chasm, and at the moment I don't see how that chasm could be crossed, so that we could arrive at any sort of settlement. So it seems, from where I stand on the information before me, that there is no realistic prospect of successful negotiations with Mr. Douglas with that $3 million price tag.
Acting Prison Superintendent Kenrick Jean-Jacques told the closing of the criminal session of the court that they are working hard to ensure that a proper buffer zone is established so as to protect the state's prison. His comments were made in answer to questions from Special Prosecutor attached to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Keith Scotland, and High Court Judge Victoria Charles Clark. Jean-Jacques told the court that while the prison capacity is 250 inmates, at present they have a population of 208, 204 males and 4 females. He said funding for the buffer zone is expected to be approved by January 2017. 14 inmates are preparing for the CSEC exams in May 2017. The prison is reported to be self-sufficient with poultry and a piggery. Jean-Jacques says he is concerned that people are still sending drugs over the fence to inmates, but he believes the buffer zone, which will also include refencing and camera, will eliminate that problem. 7 foreigners are among the inmates at the state prison. They are from Haiti, China, Jamaica, and the Dominican Republic. You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more news after this. And the OECS region is making steady inroads into the Cuban market. Andrea Louis has more.
This, as the first ever OECS trade mission to Cuba was successfully hosted in November. Business Development Officer for Manufacturing and Agribusiness with the OECS Comparative Business Unit, Kwesi Roberts, says the OECS was well represented at the International Fair in Havana, Cuba.
I would say, first of all, that the Cubans were very happy to receive us in this manner. They, in fact, recognized the Caribbean as having, for the first time, a complete representation. The companies that participated, for many of them, it was the first time. They were very excited about the activity. Most of the companies indicated that they are committed to the process because they understand that doing business in Cuba, requires tremendous effort, and it requires a long-term commitment.
Despite the good feedback from the participating countries and the host country, Roberts says there is still a lot of work to do to secure a Cuban market for OECS products.
In Cuba, you have a centralized bureaucracy for purchasing and procurement of products. So it's not that you simply just meet a distributor and you start shipping products. It doesn't work like that. You need to, in fact, the Cubans see FIHAV, the International Fair, as a critical entry point for the Cuban market. So once you establish a relationship with a potential buyer, you now have to go through the process of having your products certified in Cuba, accepted by the Cubans in terms of their quality standards. One of the other challenges would be the issue of payments. In the Cuban market currently, there are restrictions on US dollar transactions because of the US embargo which still exists. You also have the challenge of logistics and shipping. Because of the embargo, again, you have that limitation in terms of a boat being able to go to Cuba and then sail into a US port.
A secured Cuban market would have a significant impact on the trade sector in the OECS.
You have about 10 million people. So that's a significant market. I mean, the OECS combined as it is probably about 500,000 people. So that could be quite a significant market for us. And also, the Cuban market is now emerging as a big tourist market. They have about 3 to 5 million tourists going there annually.
10 companies from the OECS participated in this first ever trade mission to Cuba. Among the products on display were food and beverage items, construction material, and health and wellness products. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
Assistant Chief Education Officer Dr. Jeffrey Blaise is hopeful that the I Can See Clearly project will help improve student learning ability in the new year. Speaking at the official launch this week, Dr. Blaise said the Ministry of Education was trying its best to contact every child on the island.
We have already obtained parental consent, which was a necessary factor in terms of the entire activity. And when we go to the school, we'll ensure that we touch every child, and the students who are to be referred will be referred, and the intervention will be done next term.
The Minister for Education, the Honorable Peter St. Jean, says the eye care issues identified as early as primary school are startling, and the tide needs to turn immediately.
It is against this backdrop that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerritt and the entire cabinet of the Commonwealth of Dominica, we are committed to addressing the needs that affect our children. And as such, as you would have heard, in 2014, the Prime Minister declared our intentions of tackling the problem head-on.
The program is expected to capture important health data and provide much-needed eyeglasses to needy students. And Dominica's sole electricity company, Domlec, is cautioning customers to transition to the AMI meter lest they be left in the dark. The warning is being meted out to the customers who are currently on the STS meter. Commercial engineer with Domlec, Kurt Savre, says the most recent push to get all customers on board with the AMI is as a result of Tropical Storm Erika last year.
The STS meters are what people commonly call the keypad meters. So these are the meters that you key in your tokens when you want to process a transaction. And the AMI meters are the meters which do not require the keypad. After Tropical Storm Erika passed, we had communication issues. So for our AMI customers, we were able to cancel all disconnects. We canceled disconnects for probably about a month to give everybody a chance to pick up themselves. We could not do that for the STS meters because they isolated from the system. So we haven't got any control of what happens. We cannot read them remotely. They're not part of the AMI or the advanced metering infrastructure. So the STS customers got stranded, for lack of a better term. Communications were down, there was no access to some of the vendors. So when their credit ran out and they got disconnected, there was nothing we could do to assist them.
The commercial engineer says the customers who are currently on the STS meter have until 31st January to switch over to AMI or AMI.
When we started in the year, we had about 1,600. We were targeting. We got the majority of them changed. We have a few we have not been able to reach. Sometimes we go there and the customer is unavailable. Probably their number hasn't been updated on the system, so we don't have a means to contact them. So that's why we're trying to reach out to the balance of the customers. If you still have a keypad meter on your system, to contact us so we can have it upgraded before we actually take down the platform. What would happen is that if you have a keypad meter and you need to replenish your token, you would not be able to do that. Because the system will be offline.
Savre points out that the company's drive toward total AMI or AMI use is in keeping with the global move towards smart technology.
With the whole drive towards smart grid and smart technology, AMI is actually, some people say the first thing you'd need to do is have a smart meter in your house, and the AMI meters are considered smart meters. So everything else we want to do outside of that, that would be the basis for it. So we can connect and disconnect remotely. So you may have a situation where for communication purposes, a customer applies credit to the account and it doesn't go through. We can assist in that way. Even outside of the connect and disconnect function, there are a lot of troubleshooting tasks that we can do to assist a customer without actually having to visit their premises.
And a woman who stood shorty for her cousin and left holding the bag was relieved on Thursday when the court decided not to hold her responsible for his disappearance. Kira Henry Lafont and Lambert Privot jointly stood shorty for her cousin Gary John Finn of Castle Bruce in the amount of $35,000 after John Finn was arrested by police on allegations of having sex with an underage child in 2013. Privot died in August 2015 and Lafont undertook to be the sole shorty in the amount of $15,000. John Finn subsequently disappeared, failing to show up to stand trial. Lafont told the court she secured John Finn's passport, and when she heard he was gone, she immediately reported the matter to the Castle Bruce police. She told the court information reaching her indicated he was in Guadeloupe. She also told the court that she was not in a position to pay the court for the forfeiture since she had to attend to her sick child. Lafont's lawyer, Kathy Beaufong-Royer, told the court that her client was not wanting on due diligence and had made every effort to secure John Finn's court attendance. Justice Victoria Charles Clark ruled that she was satisfied that Lafont had acted with due diligence in the matter. That's news. Coming up, your sports highlights with Kenny Williams.
Moving on to cricket, where coach of the Windward Islands Volcanoes says the win against the Leeward Islands Hurricanes was a confidence booster ahead of their upcoming match on Friday. Volcanoes and Barbados Pride are scheduled to go head-to-head as round 5 of the PCL Regional 4-Day tournament begins.
I think it was a real good feeling after that victory against the Leewards, because obviously we started off this season really poorly in terms of victories. But it was good to see the way the guys came back and played some hard cricket and basically execute the plan. And the result would have shown. I think what would have probably worked first is the preparation leading up to that game. And I think that the players adopted well and buy into what we would have planned for them so that they can execute in the game. So it was a good win for us, and that would have definitely give us some confidence going into the game against Barbados.
He says there is a plan for the 4-day match against Barbados, which begins on Friday.
I think we definitely have to continue to do the things that work for us in the game against the Leeward Islands. I think we our batting start picking up some sort of form, but I think we still need to carry on when we have starts. I think the bowlers basically have to continue to hit the areas that will create pressure on the batters. And just take whatever chance come to us, because sometimes you could lose a game by letting off, batters, and they can probably go on and make big scores. But I think that the plan for Barbados is basically, similar to most of the teams. We, basically do our thing in the different areas, our batting, our bowling, our fielding, and basically go there and execute. Continue to work on the areas that we need to in the nets and take that into the game.
Volcanoes all-rounder Kyle Mayers is Bajan by birth and will play against his countrymen during the match.
Actually, it will be the first time playing against Barbados. I'm very anxious to go out there and play against people that I already play with at home. Confident as well. After starting the season so well, hoping to carry on in good form. As an all-rounder, I look forward to both actually, bowling and batting. Always like to be in the game. They had such a good game with the bat against Leewards, like the previous games before, but looking forward to scoring some runs in this game and taking some wickets also.
The point standing heading into round 5, Jamaica Scorpions are in the lead with 46.8 points. Guyana Jaguars follow with 44. Barbados Pride is next on 43.2, with Leeward Islands Hurricanes on 36.6. The Dominica-based Windward Volcanoes follows on 35.2 points, and the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force is in the cellar position with 32.4 points. Next up, Andy Williams Spartans defeated St. Mary's Cooperative Credit Union Delton United 5-2 in action from the DFA's Division 1 League on Wednesday. ACS Portersville Tarish United also had good fortunes when they edged out Gully Dream Team 1-0. And the match between Exodus FC and MV Maxon Obamas ended in a draw. The league continues with Skerrit Northeast up against the Dublin FC at Benjamin's Park, while at Newtown it will be Trafalgar Football Club versus Malta Carib Bath Estate FC. That match starts at 6 p.m. On Saturday, Police Sports Club will take on ACS 711 Portersville Tarish United at Newtown Playing Field from 4 in the afternoon. Finally, in a doubleheader on Sunday at Portersville, Haitian Angels will come up against Buster Warner from 3, to be followed by Element Agency's LA Stars versus RC Doctors at 5 p.m. Meantime, 4 teams have recently honored their financial obligation to the DFA in light of the recently suspended DFA Premier League. They are Sagicor Southeast, Petro Caribe Point Michel, Exodus FC, and the Central Cooperative Credit Union Dublin Football Club. Delinquent clubs are encouraged to follow suit. On to international cricket, where good performances with the bat for Australians skipper Steve Smith helped his team reach 288 for 3 on the opening day of the test against Pakistan on Thursday. Smith made 110 not out, while Matt Renshaw added 71 and Peter Hanscom 64 not out. Single wickets came from Mohamed Amir, Yasir Shah and Wab Raiz. That's all the sporting highlights for now. I am Kenny Williams. Be sure to join us in the next one.
Your weather forecast is next.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I am Janelle Macpherson. Infrared satellite imagery today showed low-level clouds across the eastern Caribbean. Visible satellite imagery showed partly cloudy to cloudy skies across Dominica. Radar imagery indicated a few isolated showers across the central portion of the region. The weather for tonight: partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy and breezy with a few scattered showers. These conditions are expected to continue into tomorrow, with temperatures peaking up to 32 degrees Celsius. Seas tomorrow moderate in open water, waves peaking up to 8 feet. A small craft warning is in effect. All users of the sea are advised to continue to exercise caution. Looking ahead for the next 3 days, the weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and windy with scattered showers. Throughout the Caribbean tomorrow, partly cloudy skies and some scattered showers are expected. On the international cities forecast, clear skies and cool temperatures expected in New York and Beijing, partly cloudy skies in Miami, overcast conditions in London, and partly cloudy skies and scattered showers expected in Caracas. Sunrise tomorrow at 6:25 a.m. and sunset at 5:38 p.m. For up-to-date weather information, visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good night.
To end the news, the headlines again: Dominica approves new measures to strengthen due diligence in the sale of passports. Prime Minister Skerrit makes a fresh pledge of assistance to organizations caring for children, the elderly and physically challenged. And the OECS makes inroads into the Cuban market. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNews15thDec2k16. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. To all our viewers around the world, thank you for watching.